Hello,
Hello, mate. How you going?
I'm okay. How you doing?
I am doing fantastic.
Right.
All righty. So, congrats on the new little ditty that you've put out last week. How's it going so far? What's the reaction?
I don't know. Uh, I'm not sure. we like it, so
And
that's
that's probably the most important thing, isn't it? When you create an album, that you've got to be happy with it.
well, it's a start. Yeah. Yeah. Sort of waiting on other people's reactions to things is a little too fraught with danger. So yeah, sort of when release things, I always think it's important to move on to the next thing, to concentrate on creating something else. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
Awesome.
But the band's all happy with it. So yeah.
Now, tell me where you came up with the title for the album.
Well, I guess since we released the What Rhymes with Cars and Girls record in '99, people have been offering their solutions to the riddle, and none of them have been particularly inspiring. And then I had a psychedelic vision in Tasmania last year when I was down there working on a ballet with my wife, and where I saw this pitchfork of stars appear in the East Tasmanian sky, and Tines of Stars Unfurled, just the title came to me, and it was like a beautiful coincidence and a solution to the riddle, I guess. So it was that.
And you've got the songs on this album. They're kind of like that bookend, and they correspond to the songs on the first album. When you sat down, you had to sort of revisit tracks. Was there any track off that the first album, What Rhymes with Cars and Girls, where you went, what the fuck was I thinking when I wrote that song?
Not quite what the fuck, but more just I could have done a little better. That the person who wrote those songs isn't alien to me. They're just I think a little lazy with some of the lyrics. I mean, it was adventurous, I guess, for the time, and was trying something. But I'm the kind of person who doesn't revisit or edit myself in writing at all, whether it's prose or songs. And so because there was a stage version of What Rhymes with Cars and Girls, the theatre show, and that I was involved in, I really had a chance to hear those songs a lot, hundreds of times over and over in rehearsals for the theatre show. And during that rehearsal time and at the shows, I just thought, that's a bit lazy. That's a bit kind of not thought out well. And I don't think that all lyrics have to be thought out well. What blew up, what bam boom is probably the greatest song lyric ever, and it's kind of just nonsense, but it means everything. But just just hearing those lyrics hundreds of times a month, I just thought I could do a little better. And as so it's just a writing exercise, I thought, well, try and do sequels or answers or abstractions on those songs, as because writing and wordplay kind of excites me and enthuses me.
Sure. I've got to ask, do you write for the album in mind, or are you just a writer for life?
Well, that's a good question. writing in whatever form definitely is really makes me want to continue living, because it's I think it's the purpose of my own existence. But having projects, then when I get a project, it gives me an impetus to finalize things. If there weren't albums or books or projects, I'd just write just for cognition and for amusement, and to stave off sadness, really. So it's a bit of both, really. I think.
Okay, sure. Now, a couple of songs on the album. One I'm really into on a personal level is I Live Near a Train Station. Now, as someone that actually did live near a train station, when you first move in, you absolutely hate it. Then it comes this almost like a heartbeat of its own, where you know the sounds, you know the feeling. Is there any kind of city that you've ever been to or lived in, besides the one near a train station, that you think has the best pulse, heartbeat around?
Again, that's a good question. Yeah, apart from the one I live in country Victoria, but I remember going to a minor league baseball game in Nashville, and I was watching a team called the Nashville Sound play, because I love going to minor league baseball games when I'm touring the States. And there was something about being in Tennessee and hearing that railroad sound. Similarly in Memphis and any of those towns south in the States, I guess, as being a lover of American music, particularly older historical American music, and hearing the trains there. I guess that's whether it's hearing Jimmy Rogers records, I guess particularly Jimmy Rogers, and then hearing and seeing those trains as well. I mean, aesthetically, they're very beautiful, and just knowing that people's lives are moving on and moving, and imagining the thoughts of people in those trains. I mean, there was a song on the first record, Living Under the Flight Path, and I'd sit out in my backyard when I was living under a flight path and wonder how many stories are going on in those planes. Similarly, I can think about that watching a train go by. And the train station near where I live is probably about half a kilometre away, and it does have a beautiful ghostly sound because it's a very quiet part of the world where I live. And just that whistle and the sound of train going by, it's it can either be someone, I don't know, moving away from love and happiness, or moving towards it.
Sure. And the other song, The Drinks They Drained As I Drove Away. I don't know if many people know, but you've worked in a bar. What's some of the funniest stories or tales you've seen come across that bar in your time?
I'm surprised at how unfunny the stories are, really, because as a lifelong progenitor, a patron of bars, I think your job there is to not bore the bartender, and I'd be surprised how people could. But I can't think of any particular stories. They're gorgeously funny people I'd serve. Few and far between, unfortunately. people have got to get better at that shit, you know. Or I guess one of the things that interested me was I like going to bars because, and particularly when touring, and I like going to them by myself. And I don't mind taking a book or a journal to write at, or taking a book to read. And it'd be very rare that someone would come in and bring a book and have a drink or grab something to eat and bring a book. And the rare times someone would, I'd almost feel like congratulating them. But of course, you know, if someone brings a book to a bar, you leave them alone. They don't necessarily want to be interrupted. I think my first night back bartending after a decade, and it was a Christmas party, and a lady came and ordered 53 cocksucking cowboys. And I thought, well, this is my first night back behind the bar. Here we go. All right.
Wow, that's a long night, or just a lot of people.
And a shit-house drink as well.
Now, 22, you have a daughter, I believe the same age. What was your life like at 22?
Well, I guess the band would have been starting to play a lot. I think we might have just started touring a lot. I was trying to stop taking my medication because it was making it difficult to perform. So, but yeah, big changes. I guess with touring and getting sort of familiar with that and learning the touring life, which is largely about how just to treat people when you're drunk and tired and hungover and just worn out from doing shows night after night. And the performance bit didn't seem to be much of a problem, because that, I guess, when our band started, and we've never really been a particularly musically difficult band. We play kind of amplified folk music, really. So it was just trying to maintain some level of decorum and just try and keep going, you know. But it was really the kicking the meds so I could tour that was difficult. So I guess that's where the song about 22 and my daughter and her friends and the life that she leads, they're just the way they navigate the world and the way that they've navigated this, particularly the pandemic, with being these New York kids who have just handled it so incredibly well, and I'm just in awe of their lives and the way they navigate the world. You know, I was very fearful 22-year-old and full of doubt and insecurity. And I don't doubt that those kids have got their insecurities as well, but they just navigate the world with such charm and grace, and I'm just in awe of them.
Awesome. So I need to ask, what is the difference between the UMI Tim, the Hard-Ons Tim, and the Twinset Tim?
Oh no, they're pretty much the same. I think that's the reason why I get asked to why I'm still in UMI, and you know, we just finished the new Hard-Ons record, and why those geniuses still want to deal with me, and the Bamboos and the Twinset are allowing me to go out and tour with them. I think a level of consistency, kind of just trying to be a good team player, and you know, you shout drinks when it's your time, be a decent conversationalist, but also leave people alone when they want to be left alone. But also, I think the main thing is to be enthusiastic about the music you're playing. I mean, I've played with people and it's been a drag to kind of drive them over, to drag them over the line, or they've had, and times where they've had to drag me over the line, and that's not what it's about. I mean, I think as a musician, your job is to be showing a way for people to either a level of escapism or adventure or ambition, intellectually or musically, just to be interesting and to be interested and to have an empathy with other humans. And so hopefully I've got a little bit of that. I mean, I check on it each day. I mean, every morning when I drag my ass off whatever floor I've been sleeping on, and you got to make your way to the van or to the bus. We can all be mopey and complain, and I'm a prone to my depressions and the like, but you've got to do it like a team. We're a little example of how people can get along. I think that's our job, to say, hello world, it's difficult out there at times, but we're making this music thing, and this isn't an act. This is just how we can get along as humans and elevate ourselves, and hopefully end the night where everyone's making love and have had a wonderful experience, and consensual making love is important to recognize.
I do think you've left one thing out, and that is your undeniable fashion sense. When do we get the signature line of Tim Rogers kimonos? I need to ask.
Well, I mean, I got asked about my fashion sense recently. I mean, a large part of that is trying to distract. I think I started dressing in a way just for enthusiasm and for humor. I like to keep myself amused, but I'm not a good-looking person, but I look good with clothes on. Clothes tend to hang off me well, whether it's kimonos or suits or the like. I like to give people their amusement. It's odd because I hate being looked at. If I sense that someone's sort of staring at me, I feel very uncomfortable, which is unusual because I sort of dress like Geddy Lee's worst nightmare. But I think Geddy and I would agree that we do it for our own amusement and to take attention away from our faces, I guess. But I think also being in love with rock and roll and in love with jazz, being in love with rhythm and blues, my heroes like Lightning Hopkins or Slim Harpo or Wes Montgomery, there's gentlemen and women, Janis Joplin, Joni Mitchell, just dressed in a way that they gave a visual element to their music, and I'd like to continue that tradition. Life's too short to dress in dull clothing.
I agree. So you also did 2 preview shows last year. What was it like to blow those cobwebs off the twin set after so long?
Well, there were cobwebs. It's good. I mean, the core of the twin set is Jen Anderson and myself. We were playing with some new people brought into that fold, but having Davey Lane play in the band as well, we had cause to remember a lot about that first twin set tour, the only twin set tour in 1999, and that was Davey's first tour. So it was very emotional, very, very emotional. It is every night because I've got a lot of memories of friends gone and a lot of past, but we don't want to dwell on that. Maybe there are just people wanting to enjoy themselves at the shows, so try not to just mire ourselves in the sentimentality of it, but to try and bring something new to it.
So you've got the 13 dates coming up. So when you're doing your set, are you going to do like the question and answer kind of thing, where you're going to do the song from the first record and then the corresponding song from the new record straight after it?
Don't know. We did a show yesterday, and we just kind of mixed it up. We did the set list about 5 minutes before we went on, so I hope it'll change every night. There's we could do it that way, and I'll think about that, but we'll probably decide 5 minutes before we do the first show, and hopefully mix it up a little. There's interesting textures on the songs musically and lyrically, so we'll make mistakes. We don't rehearse a lot. We get together and socialize a lot.
Well, to me, that's good, because mistakes mean it's rock and roll. Like, if I don't go somewhere and I don't hear a mistake, I want to know where the backing track is.
Yeah, man, there's no backing tracks here, I can tell you. And also, too much rehearsing, I don't trust either. These musicians are brilliant, but they're also intuitive, and we're going to listen to each other, listen and then ignore the crowd, and if anyone shows up, and you've got to keep yourself a little tense, really. Delivering a well-structured show is important for theatre, but for rock and roll and for folk music, whatever it is we're playing, I think there's got to be no safety net, and I played with too many bands and there's a fucking backing track going on. You know what? That is the most condescending thing ever. It was interesting, when people started using it back decades ago. But no, I want to hear some folk or rock and roll, whatever it is. That's it. The key element is danger, and when you're not sure if everything's going to go to plan, there's an element of danger there, and that's non-condescending to an audience, and it keeps it exciting. I believe.
I love that idea, mate. I'm going to let you go for the evening. Congrats on the record. I actually really love it. It's honest, it's dangerous, it's all of it. And I reckon shit tons of people are going to be out to see the shows. I look forward to catching one up here.
That's really kind of you, man. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, mate. Have a good night.
See you, brother. Bye-bye.
See ya.
The world is a vampire.
The Smashing Pumpkins are coming down under this April for their World is a Vampire Festival, with special guests Jane's Addiction, Amel and the Sniffers, and more. Plus, professional wrestling, the NWA versus Australia's best. Tickets on sale now at oneworldentertainment.com.au. The Smashing Pumpkins World is a Vampire Festival. Get your tickets now.